Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, looking out at the stars through the main window. The ship moved slowly through space, heading toward the Kepler system, where they hoped to find new trading partners. Jake had been exploring space for 15 years, and something felt wrong about this mission. "Sir, we're getting a signal from the planet below," said Lieutenant Amy Phillips, the ship's science officer. She was young but smart, always asking the right questions. "It's from the Zephyrian Council. They want to meet with us right away." Jake nodded. The Zephyrians were blue-skinned aliens who lived on 3 different planets in this system. They had been trading with humans for about 10 years, but something was different this time. Every time humans visited, the aliens seemed nervous and scared. "Tell them we'll be down in 2 hours," Jake said. "And Amy, keep scanning. I want to know if there are any other ships in the area." Amy worked at her computer station. "Sir, there are 12 Zephyrian ships hiding behind the 4th planet. They're not moving, just sitting there." This was strange. Why would the Zephyrians hide their ships? Jake had seen this before with other alien races. They always seemed afraid when humans showed up, but he could never understand why. The USS Defiance landed at the main spaceport on Zephyr Prime. The city was beautiful, with tall blue buildings that seemed to glow in the sunlight. But as Jake and his team walked through the streets, they noticed something odd. The streets were almost empty. The few Zephyrians they saw quickly moved away when they spotted the humans. Chancellor Vexthara met them at the government building. He was tall and thin, with dark blue skin and large yellow eyes. Like all Zephyrians, he had 4 arms and moved very carefully around the humans. "Welcome, Commander Morrison," Vexthara said, his voice shaking a little. "We have prepared the trade agreements you requested. Everything is ready for your approval." Jake looked at the papers. The Zephyrians were offering twice as much food and metal as they had discussed before. They were also asking for almost nothing in return. "Chancellor, this seems like too much," Jake said. "We only need half of these supplies." Vexthara's large eyes got even bigger. "Please, Commander, we insist. Take everything. We want to make sure you are happy with our deal." Amy leaned over to Jake. "Sir, this doesn't make sense. They're giving us everything for almost nothing." Jake signed the papers anyway. As they prepared to leave, he noticed something strange. All the Zephyrian guards were carrying weapons, but they kept their hands far away from them when humans were nearby. Back on the ship, Jake called Admiral Lisa Carter on the communication system. She was in charge of all human exploration ships from her base on Station Alpha 7. "Admiral, something is wrong out here," Jake said. "The aliens are acting scared of us. This is the 5th species that has done this in the past month." Lisa Carter was an older woman who had been in space for 30 years. She had gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Scared? Jake, we're just traders and explorers. What could they be scared of?" "I don't know, but it's getting worse. Captain Steve Rogers from the merchant ship Frontier's Edge sent me a report yesterday. He said that pirate ships run away when they see human vessels. Pirates, Admiral. They're supposed to attack us, not run away." Lisa thought for a moment. "Keep investigating, Jake. Send me everything you find. If there's something going on, we need to know about it." 3 days later, the USS Defiance was exploring an empty star system when they found something that changed everything. It was a huge space station, floating alone in the darkness. The station was clearly Zephyrian, with the same blue metal and curved design as their ships. "Sir, I'm not reading any life signs," Amy said. "The station appears to be abandoned." Jake made a decision. "We're going aboard. Get a team ready." The space station was enormous inside. The corridors were wide and tall, built for beings much larger than humans. Emergency lights flashed red, and computer screens showed warnings in the Zephyrian language. Tony Martinez, the ship's engineer, was working on one of the computers. "Commander, I think I can translate some of this. It looks like they left in a hurry." Amy was studying another computer terminal. "Jake, you need to see this. These are military computers. They show ship movements, battle plans, and ... Wait a minute." She pointed to a large screen that showed a map of the galaxy. There were red dots scattered across it, and each dot was labeled with symbols that their computers were translating. "What does it say?" Jake asked. Amy's face went pale. "It says, Apex Predator Alert. And Jake, every red dot is a human ship or colony." Jake stared at the screen. "Apex Predator? They think we're predators?" Tony found another computer that was still working. "Commander, look at this. It's a communication log. The messages are about us." The computer screen showed dozens of messages between different alien species. As their translation software worked, the messages became clear. The aliens were warning each other about humans. They called humans the unbreakable ones and the deathbringers from Sol. One message made Jake's blood run cold. It was from the Shadowkin, a race of aliens that other species feared. The message said, "The humans have entered our territory. We are retreating to the deep void. Even we cannot face the madness of their kind." Amy was reading more messages. "Jake, they're talking about our military exercises. They think our training programs are evidence that we're a warrior race that lives only for fighting." Jake sat down heavily in a chair. "They're afraid of us, all of them. The entire galaxy is afraid of humans." Tony was still working on the computers. "Sir, there's more. They have detailed studies of human behavior. They say we're dangerous because we never give up, we never surrender, and we're willing to die for things they don't understand." Jake looked around the abandoned station. Now he understood why it was empty. The Zephyrians had left when they detected human ships in the area. They were so afraid of humans that they had abandoned an entire military base. "Amy, how many species do we know about?" Jake asked. "We've made contact with 47 different alien races," Amy said. "And every single one of them has been nervous and scared when dealing with us." Jake stood up. "Get me Admiral Carter. We need to report this immediately." As they prepared to leave the abandoned station, Jake looked back at the computer screens, still showing the galaxy map. All those red dots marking human locations looked like a disease spreading across the stars. For the first time in his life, Jake Morrison understood that humans might not be the friendly explorers they thought they were. The USS Defiance left the station and headed back to human space. Behind them, the abandoned station continued to flash its warnings into the empty darkness, a monument to the fear that had driven an entire species to flee from the very mention of humanity. Jake knew that everything was about to change. The galaxy was not the peaceful place they had thought it was. It was peaceful because every other species was too terrified to fight the humans, who walked among them like living nightmares. And the worst part was that humans had no idea they were the monsters in everyone else's dreams. Lieutenant Colonel Sam Baker sat in his office on Station Alpha 7, reading reports that made no sense. For 3 weeks, he had been collecting strange stories from across human space. Every human ship, every colony, every trading post had the same problem. The aliens were acting afraid. Sam was the head of human intelligence, which meant it was his job to understand what other species were thinking. But these reports were like nothing he had ever seen before. Pirates ran away from human merchants. Entire alien fleets changed course to avoid human ships. Some alien species had stopped trading with humans completely. "Sir, I have another report," said his assistant, Lieutenant Lisa Green. She was young and smart, with short brown hair and serious eyes. "Captain Mike Johnson from the deep space." Patrol just sent this in. Sam took the report and read it quickly. Captain Johnson had been exploring the far edge of human space when he found 3 abandoned alien cities. The cities were completely empty, but there were signs that millions of aliens had lived there until very recently. They just left everything behind, Sam said to himself. Food still on the tables, machines still running. What could make an entire planet of aliens run away? Lisa sat down across from his desk. Sir, I've been thinking about this. What if we're the reason they're running? Sam looked up at her. What do you mean? Every report says the same thing. The aliens are afraid of humans. Not afraid of our weapons or our ships. Afraid of us. The question is why. Sam stood up and walked to the window. Outside, he could see human ships coming and going from the station. They looked normal to him, but maybe that was the problem. Maybe humans were not as normal as they thought. Get me Commander Morrison, Sam said. I need to know what he found on that abandoned station. An hour later, Jake Morrison appeared on the communication screen. Behind him, Amy Phillips was working. At a computer, Tony Martinez was fixing something on the ship's wall. Sam, good to see you, Jake said. I was hoping you would call. We've made some discoveries that you need to hear. Tell me everything, Sam said. Jake's face became serious. We found a Zephyrian military computer that was still working. Amy has been translating their files for days. What we found is scary. Amy looked up from her work. Colonel Baker, the aliens have been studying us for decades. They have detailed reports on human behavior, our history, our military tactics. And they're terrified of what they found. What did they find? Sam asked. Jake answered. They think we're monsters. They've been watching our movies, reading our books, studying our wars. To them, humans are a species that never gives up, never stops fighting, and never shows mercy. Sam frowned. But that's not true. We're peaceful explorers. Tony Martinez laughed, but it was not a happy sound. Colonel, we may think we're peaceful, but look at our history. We've been fighting wars for thousands of years. We fight for our countries, our families, our ideas. Other species don't do that. Amy added, the aliens evolved differently than us. When they have problems, they talk or trade or share resources. The idea of fighting to the death for something like honor or freedom is completely alien to them. They think we're insane. Sam felt a cold feeling in his stomach. So they're afraid because they think we're all crazy? It's worse than that, Jake said. They think we're dangerous because we're unpredictable. A human will die to protect you. Stranger, a human will fight against impossible odds. A human will never surrender, even when surrender makes sense. To them, that's not brave. That's the behavior of a species that has lost its mind. Lisa Green, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. Sir, that explains why the pirates run away. They're used to fighting species that will give up when they're outnumbered. But humans? We fight harder when we're outnumbered. Sam sat down heavily. How many species know about this? Amy checked her computer. From what we can tell, every species in the galaxy has reports about humans. They share information about us the way we might share information about a dangerous disease. Jake leaned forward. Sam, there's something else. We intercepted a message from someone called War Speaker Kethmer. He's from something called the Meridian Collective. They're organizing other species against us. Against us? Why? Because they think we're going to conquer the galaxy. They believe that humans are a warrior race that destroyed their own planet through endless fighting, and now we're looking for new worlds to conquer. Sam stood up and started walking around his office. This is insane. We're not conquerors. We're explorers. We left Earth because we wanted to see the stars, not because we destroyed our planet. Tony Martinez spoke from the screen. Colonel, it doesn't matter what we think. It matters what they think. And they think we're the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Lisa Green was reading something on her computer. Sir, I'm getting reports from all over human space. Alien ships are moving in large groups. It looks like they're getting ready for something. Sam felt his heart start beating faster. Getting ready for what? Jake's voice was grim. War, Sam. They're getting ready for war against us. Amy looked up from her computer. Colonel, I've been studying their communications. They're planning something called Operation Silence. From what I can understand, they want to stop humans before we can spread our madness to other species. Sam walked back to his desk. Do we have any idea when this might happen? Soon, Jake said. The messages we intercepted are getting more urgent. They're talking about eliminating the human threat before it's too late. Lisa Green stood up. Sir, what do we do? Do we tell Admiral Carter? Sam thought for a moment. Yes, but first I need to understand something. Jake, you said they think we're monsters. What exactly do they think we're going to do? Amy answered. They think we're going to kill or enslave every other species in the galaxy. They believe that's what humans do. They think we're incapable of peace. Jake added, they've studied our history, Sam. They know about every war we've ever fought. They know about every time humans have killed other humans. To them, we're not a species that sometimes fights. We're a species that sometimes stops fighting. Sam felt sick. So they're planning to attack us to protect themselves? Exactly. Jake said, they think it's kill or be killed. They believe that if they don't destroy us first, we'll destroy them. Tony Martinez was shaking his head. The crazy thing is, they're probably right to be afraid. Not because we're monsters, but because we're human. If they attack us, we will fight back. And we'll fight back with everything we have. Lisa Green was looking at more reports. Sir, I'm seeing movement from the Shadowkin. They're the galaxy's most feared warriors, and even they're afraid of us. If they're moving, something big is about to happen. Sam sat down and put his head in his hands. So let me understand this. The galaxy thinks we're monsters. They're planning to attack us to protect themselves. And if they attack us, we'll prove. Am right by fighting back. That's about the size of it, Jake said. Amy looked sad. The worst part is, this is all based on a misunderstanding. We're not monsters. We're just human. But to them, being human is the same thing as being a monster. Sam stood up. I need to call Admiral Carter right now. We need to figure out what we're going to do about this. Jake nodded. Sam, there's one more thing. The aliens have been avoiding us for so long that they don't really know us. They only know what they've seen in our movies and history books. They think every human is a soldier ready to fight. Aren't we? Lisa Green asked quietly. The question hung in the air like a dark cloud. Sam looked at her and realized she was right. If aliens attacked human colonies, every human would fight back. Farmers would pick up guns. Teachers would build bombs. Children would carry messages through enemy lines. Maybe we are monsters, Sam said quietly. Maybe we just don't know it. Jake's voice came through the speaker. Sam, we need to figure this out fast. The alien fleets are getting bigger, and they're getting closer to human space. We don't have much time. Sam nodded. I'll call Admiral Carter right now. We need to decide what we're going to do. Are we going to try to talk to them, or are we going to prepare for war? I think, Jake said slowly, we need to prepare for both. As Sam reached for the communication device to call Admiral Carter, he realized that everything was about to change. The peaceful galaxy that humans had known was about to become a battlefield, and it would be fought over the question of whether humans were the heroes or the monsters of the story. The worst part was that Sam was no longer sure which side was right. Admiral Lisa Carter stood in the command center of Station Alpha 7, looking at a map of the galaxy. Red dots showed where human ships and colonies were located. Yellow dots showed where alien fleets were gathering. The yellow dots were getting closer to the red dots every day. How bad is it? Lisa asked Colonel Sam Baker. Sam looked tired. He had been working for 3 days straight, reading reports and trying to understand what was happening. Admiral, it's worse than we thought. We're not just dealing with 1 or 2 alien species. We're dealing with all of them. Dr. Amy Phillips had been brought to the station to help understand the alien messages. She was now the chief expert on alien psychology, a job she never wanted. Admiral, I've been studying their communications. They've formed something called the Meridian Collective. It includes over 200 different species. Lisa sat down at the conference table. Around her were Jake Morrison, Sam Baker, Amy Phillips, and several other officers. 200 species? All united against us? That's right, Jake said. And they're all afraid of the same thing. They think humans are going to destroy the galaxy. Captain Steve Rogers had just arrived from the outer trading posts. He was a merchant, not a soldier, but he had seen more of the galaxy than most military officers. Admiral, I've been trading with aliens for 20 years. I've never seen anything like this. They're not just afraid of us, they're terrified. Lisa looked at the map again. What exactly do they think we're going to do? Amy opened her computer and showed them a translated alien message. They think we're going to kill everyone who isn't human. They believe that's what humans do. They think we're incapable of living peacefully with other species. Tony Martinez, who had been brought in to help with the technical aspects of the alien communications, looked up from his work. Admiral, I've been analyzing their history files. These species have been living in peace for thousands of years. They don't understand war the way we do. What do you mean? Lisa asked. When they fight, it's like a game with rules. They fight until one side gives up, then they stop. Nobody tries to kill everyone on the other side. The idea of total war is completely alien to them. Sam added, but that's exactly what they think we do. They've studied our history, and all they see is humans killing other humans for thousands of years. They think that's normal human behavior. Jake was reading another report. Admiral, it gets worse. They've been watching our movies and television shows. They think our entertainment shows what humans are really like. Lisa frowned. Our entertainment? Amy nodded. They've seen our war movies, our action films, our video games. To them, this is evidence that humans enjoy violence and death. They don't understand that these are just stories. Captain Steve Rogers laughed, but it was not a happy sound. So they think every human is like the characters in our movies? They think we're all soldiers and killers? Exactly, Amy said. They don't understand the difference between fiction and reality. They think our stories show how humans really behave. Lisa stood up and walked to the window. Outside, she could see human families walking through the station. Children were playing games. People were laughing and talking. These were not the monsters the aliens imagined. There has to be a way to make them understand, Lisa said. We need to talk to them. Sam shook his head. Admiral, we tried. Jake had a meeting with a Zephyrian diplomat. It didn't go well. Jake remembered the meeting. His name was Sixtol. He was brave enough to meet with us, but he was shaking the entire time. He told me that most aliens believe humans are insane. Insane? Lisa asked. He said the humans do. Things that make no sense to other species. We die for strangers. We fight for ideas that can't be touched or traded. We never give up, even when giving up would save lives. Amy was reading more alien messages. Admiral, from their point of view, human behavior is completely irrational. They can't understand why we would die for something like freedom or honor. Tony Martinez looked up from his computer. Admiral, I think I understand the problem. These alien species are very logical. They do things that make sense for their survival. But humans do things that don't make logical sense. Lisa sat back down. Give me an example. A human soldier will die to save his friends, even if it means the mission fails. An alien would complete the mission and let the friends die, because that's the logical thing to do. Jake added, they think we're defective. They believe that humans have some kind of mental illness that makes us dangerous and unpredictable. Sam was reading another report. Admiral, there's something else. The Shadowkin have been hired as assassins. They're planning to kill human leaders. Lisa's face became hard. The Shadowkin are attacking us? They're trying to, Sam said. But even they're afraid of us. They think killing human leaders will cause us to collapse into chaos. They don't understand that killing our leaders will just make us angrier. Amy looked up from her computer. Admiral, I've found something important. The aliens have never encountered a species that fights for abstract ideas. They fight for food, territory, mates, things they can touch and use. But humans fight for concepts like justice, freedom, and honor. Jake nodded. They think we're crazy, because we're willing to die for things that don't exist in any physical form. Captain Steve Rogers had been quiet for a while. Admiral, I have an idea. What if we use their fear against them? Lisa looked at him. What do you mean? They're afraid of us, right? They think we're monsters. What if we act like monsters, but in a controlled way? What if we scare them so badly that they don't want to fight us? Amy shook her head. That's dangerous. If we act like monsters, we might become monsters. Jake was thinking, but Steve might be right. If they already think we're monsters, maybe we should use that reputation to prevent a war. Sam looked at the map again. Admiral, we don't have much time. The alien fleets are getting closer. We need to make a decision. Lisa stood up. What are options? We can try to talk to them, Amy said. Maybe we can make them understand that we're not monsters. Or we can prepare for war, Jake said. If they attack us, we'll fight back. Tony Martinez added, or we can try Steve's idea. We can use their fear to end this before it starts. Lisa looked at each of them. What do you think will happen if we try to talk to them? Sam answered, they probably won't believe us. They've been afraid of us for too long. They'll think it's a trick. What if we prepare for war? Jake responded, then we'll prove them right. We'll become the monsters they think we are. And if we use their fear against them? Steve Rogers answered, we might end the conflict without anyone getting hurt. But we'll have to live with the reputation of being the galaxy's monsters. Lisa walked back to the window. Outside, she could see the stars. Somewhere out there, alien fleets were preparing to attack human colonies. Somewhere else, human families were sleeping peacefully, not knowing that the galaxy considered them to be nightmares. There's something else to consider, Amy said quietly. What if they're right about us? Everyone looked at her. What do you mean? Lisa asked. What if we really are monsters? What if we just don't see it? Think about our history. We've been fighting wars for thousands of years. We've killed millions of our own species. Maybe the aliens are right to be afraid. The room was quiet for a moment. Then Jake spoke. Amy, every species has fought wars. That doesn't make us monsters. But other species don't fight wars like we do, Amy said. They don't have total war. They don't try to completely destroy their enemies. They don't fight for ideas that can't be touched. Lisa turned back to the room. So what are you saying? I'm saying maybe we need to accept that we're different. Maybe we are more dangerous than other species. The question is, What do we do? About it? Sam looked at the map one more time. Admiral, we're running out of time. The alien fleets will be in human space within days. We need to make a decision. Lisa sat down at the head of the table. Gentlemen, lady, I think we need to do something that no one expects. We need to go to them. Jake looked surprised. Go to them? Yes. Instead of waiting for them to attack. U.S., we go to them. We force a confrontation on our terms. That's extremely dangerous, Sam said. Everything is dangerous now, Lisa replied. But if we're going to be the monsters they think we are, we might as well be monsters with a purpose. Amy looked worried. Admiral, what if this makes things worse? Lisa stood up. Amy, things can't get much worse. The entire galaxy is united against us. They're planning to wipe out humanity. We have to do something. Jake nodded slowly. What do you have in mind? Lisa looked at each of them. I'm going to approve something I'm calling Operation Revelation. We're going to show the galaxy exactly what humans are capable of. And then we're going to give them a choice. What kind of choice? Steve Rogers asked. They can accept us as we are, or they can face the consequences of their fear. The room was quiet. Everyone understood that Admiral Carter was talking about. War on a scale that the galaxy had never seen. But they also understood that they might not have any other choice. When do we start? Jake asked. Lisa looked at the map one last time. We start now. God help us all. The attack came at dawn on the human colony of New Boston. Captain Mike Johnson was leading a routine patrol when his sensors detected something that should have been impossible. 12 Shadowkin stealth ships had appeared out of nowhere, heading straight for the colony. All ships, battle stations, Mike said into his radio. We have hostile contacts approaching the colony. The Shadowkin were known throughout the galaxy as the perfect assassins. Their ships could become invisible. Their weapons could kill without making a sound, and they never failed to complete their missions. But today, something was different. Lieutenant Lisa Green, who was serving as Mike's tactical officer, looked at her sensors in confusion. Captain, I can see them clearly. There. Stealth technology isn't working. Mike looked at his own screen. The Shadowkin ships were lit up like Christmas trees on his radar. How is that possible? I don't know, sir. But they're not invisible to our sensors at all. The battle lasted exactly 60 seconds. The Shadowkin ships, designed to fight enemies who couldn't see them, were helpless against human weapons that could track their every movement. In 1 minute, the entire Shadowkin strike force was destroyed. Mike stared at the debris floating in space. Lisa, send a message to Admiral Carter. Tell her that the Shadowkin just tried to attack us, and we destroyed them in 60 seconds. Lisa was already working on the message. Sir, this is going to change everything. The Shadowkin are supposed to be the galaxy's most dangerous warriors. Not anymore, Mike said quietly. On Station Alpha 7, Admiral Lisa Carter received the message and called an emergency meeting. Around the table sat Jake Morrison, Sam Baker, Amy Phillips, Tony Martinez, and several other officers. The Shadowkin attack has failed, Lisa said. They sent their best assassins, and we destroyed them in 1 minute. Sam looked at the battle report. Admiral, this is going to terrify the aliens even more. The Shadowkin were the only species that other aliens thought might be able to fight us. Amy was reading alien communications on her computer. The news is already spreading. The alien fleets are in panic. Some species are talking about surrendering before we can attack them. Jake shook his head. They still don't understand. We're not going to attack them. We're just defending ourselves. Tony Martinez looked up from his computer. Admiral, I've been analyzing the Shadowkin technology. Their weapons are designed for fighting other aliens, not humans. They're not prepared for our kind of warfare. Lisa stood up and walked to the map. How many species are still part of the Meridian Collective? Sam checked his reports. 217 species, Admiral. But some are starting to withdraw. The destruction of the Shadowkin has made them realize that we're more dangerous than they thought. Amy looked worried. Admiral, that might make them more desperate. If they think they can't defeat us in normal combat, they might try something extreme. Like what? Lisa asked. Biological weapons, Admiral? They've been studying human physiology for decades. They might try to create diseases that only affect humans. Jake's face became grim. They would kill every human in the galaxy to stop us from spreading. Lisa sat back down. How close are they to developing these weapons? Tony Martinez was reading technical reports. According to what I can find, they're very close. They've been working on this for years, just in case they ever needed to fight us. Sam added, Admiral, we've also detected massive fleet movements. They're not just preparing for defense anymore. They're preparing for a full-scale invasion of human space. Lisa looked at the map again. The yellow dots representing alien fleets were now surrounding human space completely. They're planning to attack all our colonies at once. Amy nodded. It's called Operation Silence. They want to eliminate humanity before we can defend ourselves. Jake looked at the numbers. Admiral, they have over 10,000 ships. We have. Maybe 300. Lisa was quiet for a moment. Numbers don't matter if we're fighting the right kind of war. What do you mean? Sam asked. I mean that they're preparing to fight the humans they imagine we are. They're not prepared to fight the humans we actually are. Tony Martinez looked confused. I don't understand the difference. Amy answered. They think we're mindless killers who attack everything in sight. They don't understand that we're tactical, that we plan, that we think before we act. Jake was studying the alien fleet positions. Admiral, they've made a mistake. They're positioning their fleets to surround us, but they're spreading their forces too thin. Lisa nodded. That's exactly what I was thinking. They're trying to contain us, but they're making themselves vulnerable. Sam looked at the map. So, what do we do? Lisa stood up. We're going to do something they won't expect. We're going to attack them first. The room was quiet. Everyone understood that Admiral Carter was talking about starting a war with the entire galaxy. Admiral, Amy said carefully, if we attack first, we'll prove that they were right about us. Lisa looked at her. Amy, they already think we're monsters. They're planning to kill every human in the galaxy. At this point, it doesn't matter what. They think about us. Jake was reading more reports. Admiral, there's something else. Captain Steve Rogers has been captured by the Meridian Collective. They're holding him as a prisoner. Lisa's face became hard. Where? The Meridian capital world. They're using him as proof that humans can be captured and controlled. Sam added, Admiral, they're torturing him for information about human military capabilities. Lisa was quiet for a moment. That was their second mistake. What was their first mistake? Tony Martinez asked. They assumed we would be afraid of them, Lisa said. They thought that if they threatened us, we would back down. Amy was reading more alien communications. Admiral, they're demanding that humanity surrender all our colonies and return to Earth. They want us to stay in our own star system and never leave. Jake laughed, but it was not a happy sound. They want to put us in a cage. Lisa walked to the window and looked out at the stars. Gentlemen, lady, I think it's time to show the galaxy what humans are really capable of. What do you have in mind? Sam asked. Lisa turned back to the room. I'm going to take a small fleet directly to the Meridian capital world. We're going to rescue Steve Rogers, and we're going to force them to face the truth about humanity. Amy looked worried. Admiral, that's suicide. They have thousands of ships defending their capital. They have thousands of ships that are designed to fight other aliens, Lisa said. They're not designed to fight humans. Jake was looking at the star charts. Admiral, it would take weeks to reach the Meridian capital with a normal fleet. Lisa smiled. Who said anything about a normal fleet? We're going to use their fear against them. Tony Martinez looked confused. How? We're going to broadcast our approach on all frequencies. We're going to tell every alien in the galaxy that we're coming. We're going to make them so afraid that they'll panic before we even arrive. Sam was reading more reports. Admiral, that's incredibly dangerous. If they panic, they might do something desperate. Lisa sat back down. They're already desperate, Sam. They're planning to commit genocide against humanity. We can't let fear of their desperation stop us from defending ourselves. Amy was typing on her computer. Admiral, I'm getting reports from human colonies. The aliens are starting to position their fleets for attack. We don't have much time. Jake looked at the map one more time. Admiral, if we do this, there's no going back. We'll be at war with the entire galaxy. Lisa looked at each of them. We're already at war. The only question is whether we're going to fight back or let them destroy us. The room was quiet. Everyone understood that they were about to make a decision that would change the galaxy forever. When do we leave? Jake asked. Lisa looked at the clock. We leave in 6 hours. Jake, you'll command the fleet. Amy, you'll handle communications with the aliens. Sam, you'll coordinate intelligence. Tony, you'll make sure our ships are ready for anything. Amy looked worried. Admiral, what if this doesn't work? What if we make things worse? Lisa stood up. Amy, the entire galaxy is already united against us. They're planning to kill every human alive. Things can't get much worse. Jake was already thinking about the mission. Admiral, what exactly are we going to do when we reach the Meridian capital? Lisa looked at him. We're going to give them a choice. They can accept us as we are, or they can face the consequences of their fear. Sam asked, and if they choose to fight? Lisa's voice was cold. Then we'll show them why the galaxy was right to be afraid of us. As the meeting ended, everyone understood that they were about to embark on the most dangerous mission in human history. They were going to fly into the heart of enemy territory and force a confrontation that would either end the war or prove that humans really were the monsters the galaxy believed them to be. The galaxy had spent decades living in fear of humanity. Now they were about to discover whether their fear was justified. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance, watching the stars rush past as his small fleet moved through space. Behind him were only 12 human ships, but they were heading toward the most heavily defended system in the galaxy. Sir, we're receiving signals from alien ships throughout the sector, said Lieutenant Amy Phillips. They're all running away from us. Jake nodded. For the past 3 days, their journey had been like moving through a ghost galaxy. Every alien ship they encountered immediately changed course and fled. Entire star systems had gone dark. Their populations hiding in fear. Amy, send another message on all frequencies, Jake said. Tell them we're coming to the Meridian capital world, and we want to talk. Amy looked at her computer screen. Sir, I don't think they believe we want to talk. They think this is the beginning of the human invasion they've been expecting. Behind them, the rest of the human fleet followed in formation. Captain Mike Johnson commanded the USS Warrior. Colonel Sam Baker had taken command of the USS Guardian, and several other ships carried the best human soldiers and diplomats. But they were still only 12 ships against thousands. Sir, we're entering the Meridian system, reported Tony Martinez from his position at the navigation station. I'm counting over 3,000 alien ships. Jake looked at the screen. The Meridian capital world was surrounded by ships from dozens of different species. But as the human fleet approached, something strange happened. The alien ships began to move away from them. They're not attacking, Amy said in surprise. They're retreating. Sir, I'm getting a communication from the surface, Tony said. It's from War Speaker Kethmer. He wants to meet with us. Jake thought for a moment. Tell him I'll meet with him on the surface. But first, we need to find Captain Steve Rogers. The human fleet moved into orbit around the Meridian capital world. The alien ships continued to retreat, forming a large circle around the humans, but not attacking. It was as if they were afraid to get too close. Sir, I'm detecting human life signs on the surface, Amy said. It's definitely Steve Rogers, and he's alive. Jake felt relief wash over him. Where is he? In the capital city, in what appears to be a prison facility. Jake made his decision. Amy, contact the surface. Tell them we want Steve Rogers released immediately. If they don't release him, we'll come down and get him ourselves. The message was sent, and within minutes, they received a reply. Steve Rogers would be brought to the meeting place immediately. 2 hours later, Jake Morrison stood in a large arena on the surface of the Meridian capital world. Around him, thousands of aliens from hundreds of different species had gathered. They kept their distance, watching the humans with obvious fear. War Speaker Kethmer was a tall, thin alien with gray skin and forearms. He approached Jake slowly, his hands held out to show he was not carrying weapons. Commander Morrison, Kethmer said, his voice shaking slightly. We have released your companion as requested. Jake looked around and saw Steve Rogers being escorted by 2 guards. Steve looked tired but unharmed. Thank you, Jake said. Now we need to talk. Kethmer gestured to the thousands of aliens watching them. The representatives of the Meridian Collective are here. What do you wish to say to us? Jake took a deep breath. This was the moment that would decide the fate of humanity in the galaxy. I want to tell you the truth about humans. A murmur went through the crowd. Many aliens looked skeptical, as if they expected this to be some kind of trick. We know the truth about humans, Kethmer said. You are warriors who live only for conquest and death. You have destroyed your own world and now seek to destroy ours. Jake shook his head. That's not true. We didn't destroy Earth. We left Earth because we wanted to explore the galaxy and find new homes. We never wanted to conquer anyone. Amy Phillips, who had come down to the surface with Jake, activated her computer. War Speaker, we've been studying your communications for weeks. You've been afraid of us for decades, but your fear is based on misunderstandings. She projected images into the air above the arena. The images showed human families, human children playing, human scientists working in laboratories. These are humans, Amy said. We're not monsters. We're people who love our families, who want to build better lives for our children, who seek knowledge and understanding. Kethmer looked at the images suspiciously. This is deception. We have studied your history. We know about your wars, your violence, your inability to live in peace. Jake stepped forward. Yes, we have fought wars, but we've also built hospitals, schools, and universities. We've created art, music, and literature. We've explored space not to conquer it, but to understand it. Tony Martinez was monitoring the alien communications from orbit. Jake, the aliens are talking among themselves. Some of them are starting to believe you, but others think this is an elaborate trick. Jake looked around the arena. I know you're afraid of us. I know you think we're going to destroy the galaxy. But look around you. We could have attacked your ships when we arrived. We could have bombed your cities. Instead, we came here too. Talk. Kethmer's forearms moved nervously. You did not attack because you knew we would defend ourselves. You are outnumbered 10,000 to 1. Jake laughed, and the sound made many aliens step back in fear. War Speaker, if we wanted to destroy you, being outnumbered wouldn't stop us. That's what makes us human. We don't give up when the odds are against us. Amy activated her computer again. We've been analyzing your military capabilities. Your weapons are designed for fighting other aliens, not humans. Your tactics are based on the assumption that enemies will surrender when they're outnumbered. But humans don't surrender. Kethmer looked confused. Then why are you here? Why are you not attacking us? Jake looked directly at him. Because we don't want to fight you. We never wanted to fight anyone. We just want to live peacefully in the galaxy. A voice came from the crowd. It was Sixtal, the Zephyrian diplomat, who had met with Jake before. Commander Morrison, if humans are peaceful, why do you frighten us so much? Jake thought for a moment. Because we're different from you. You've built a galaxy based on cooperation and logical thinking. But humans are driven by emotions and ideals. We fight for things you can't understand, like honor and freedom. Amy added, the galaxy has been peaceful for thousands of years because all of you think alike. But humans think differently. That makes us unpredictable, and unpredictable things are frightening. Kethmer was reading something on a device in his hand. Commander, we are receiving reports from across the galaxy. Human colonies are not attacking anyone. Human ships are not invading alien territory. They are doing exactly what you say. Exploring and trading. Jake nodded. That's what we've been doing all along. But you were so afraid of us that you couldn't see it. Steve Rogers stepped forward. War Speaker, I've been your prisoner for weeks. Did I try to escape? Did I try to hurt anyone? Did I act like the monster you thought I was? Kethmer looked at him. No. You asked for books to read. You asked about our culture. You treated your guards with respect. Because that's what humans do, Steve said. We're curious about other species. We want to learn about you, not destroy you. Amy was reading messages from the human fleet. Jake, Admiral Carter is reporting that alien ships throughout the galaxy are standing down. They're not attacking human colonies anymore. Jake looked around the arena. The truth is, we need each other. Humans have things to offer the galaxy, and the galaxy has things to offer humans. We can work together, but only if we stop being afraid of each other. Kethmer was quiet for a long moment. Commander Morrison, if we accept what you say, what happens now? Jake smiled. Now we start over. We build a galaxy where humans and aliens can work together. We create new laws that protect everyone. We learn from each other. Tony Martinez's voice came through Jake's radio. Commander, I'm getting reports from all over the galaxy. Alien fleets are withdrawing from human space. Some species are already sending messages asking to resume trade. Amy looked at her computer. Jake, the ethereals are coming out of hiding. The collectors are ending their hibernation. Species that have been afraid for decades are starting to communicate again. Kethmer looked around at the other aliens in the arena. The Meridian Collective will need to discuss this. But I believe we may have made a terrible mistake about humanity. Jake nodded. We all made mistakes. But we can learn from them. As the meeting ended, Jake looked up at the stars. The galaxy was no longer silent with fear. Communications were flowing between species that had hidden from each other for decades. Trade routes were reopening. Scientists were sharing knowledge. Steve Rogers walked up to Jake. Do you think this will work? Jake looked at the aliens around them. Many were still afraid, but they were talking to each other instead of hiding. I think we have a chance. For the first time in decades, the galaxy is not afraid of us. Instead, they're trying to understand us. Amy joined them. Jake, Admiral Carter is asking if we should return to human space. Jake looked around the arena one more time. No, we're going to stay here for a while. We're going to help build something new. A galaxy where being different isn't something. to fear. As the human ship settled into orbit around the Meridian capital world, Jake Morrison realized that humanity had finally found its place in the Gao.